They're resistant to Trump's attacks on Iran. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries voicing their pessimism and already forecasting failure. Watch.
The American people want us to focus on making their life better, making their life more affordable, not getting involved in another endless war in the Middle East that is going to end in failure.
Wars without clear objectives do not remain small. They get bigger, bloodier, longer, and more expensive. This is not a necessary war, it's a war of choice.
And some in the media are letting their opposition be known, even framing it as an issue for the Democrats to run on in the midterms.
If this does extend 3, 4, 6 weeks, and the American death toll really accelerates, this is not just a defining moment for this president, but a real problem for his party in a midterm election.
We don't know why Donald Trump just started this war in Iran. Trump did it basically as a favor.
Can President Trump really take out every dictator on his own without consulting Congress or getting them to vote?
You know, there's something fishy about why he did it to me. It's a distraction, like a wag the dog situation.
Tara, can we start with Hakeem Jeffries saying, while we have troops actively working, he says it is going to be a failure. That is
shocking. And here's a guy that I've been on record a few times saying that he was going to be a legitimate threat in the Democratic Party in terms of like presidential, and then he goes and drops something like that. I don't know when we got to the point where when they're saying American people, it's the American people who are going over there. It's our troops that are going over. Those are about as American as it gets. And to not show support, you don't have to agree, but just to use keywords like fail, or when did everyone become these predictors? It's always mass chaos. It's always, oh, the death toll is going to do this and do that. Well, at the moment, it looks like the United States is kicking ass and taking names, literally. They can't even have a Sunday brunch tea anymore to discuss because everything they do, America is one step ahead of them. Where is the support? There is a moment, I think, at least give them of the week before you start dropping your criticism from your, something seems fishy to me. Wow, what a journalistic take that was. It was a wag the dog. These are American lives. I don't think, and the president, again, his resume, forget what you think of him, his resume shows that he is not in the business of putting men and women who serve this country in the line of fire. He avoids it like the plague. And this situation, it is what it is. He's reluctant, but he knows it's the right thing to do, and I'm trusting the process. But when you have these leaders, or they're not leaders, they're sound bites, and instead of being a part of the solution, the other argument would be with all the stuff they're talking about, because now they're going to say the economy's high because of the war. Where are your ideas and solutions? Give us one. Come to the table with one. Where's your magic health care? Give us something, because I'm pretty sure if it's good enough, he'd sign it. He's literally said 1 million times, bring it to my office. So where are your solutions? Always telling us how it's going to end. It's like that one friend who never pays for dinner, always complains about the restaurant.
But rooting for failure is something else.
Yeah, it's new.
Jesse, whenever we deal with the War Powers Act, we have to go back and remind everyone that Congress hasn't declared war since 1942. Mm-hmm. So the claim that Congress wanted Trump to come to them and say, let us know everything and let us vote on it before you take any action. Like, the Congress can't even fund the TSA and FEMA.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't do that with a surprise attack. This isn't an Iraq war where you go to the UN and then you have this build-up for a year and then you ask permission from the Democrats and everybody votes. This was a window, and we took a shot, and we briefed the Gang of Eight before, and we did it afterwards. I don't know why people are surprised. Rachel Maddow doesn't know why we're at war. There's been an armada building in the Gulf for a month. Hannity, at 9 o'clock, opposite of her, has been covering it every night while she's been covering Epstein, and she doesn't know why. Call a source. Call someone in the deep state. They'll explain it to you. We've been at war with these people since 1979. Can I talk about Hakeem for a second?
Yes,
Dana,
please.
To say that the U.S. military is going to fail, that's what the Ayatollah said. And he's dead. You cannot have men and women serving, risking their lives overseas on, what, day 4 of an ongoing military operation, and the lead Democrat in the House says you're going to lose? I mean, Everybody overseas watching now knows Hakeem Jeffries does not have their back. And he's asking, well, where does he get the money for this war? Okay, it was in the $900 billion Pentagon budget that he voted for. I think he's losing it.
The other thing is that Hakeem Jeffries, they talk about, in terms of the cost of the bombing, it's like, well, yes, there's the bill actually passed, but they were the ones also the day after Trump's inauguration saying that he hadn't done enough to bring down the price of eggs. So there's that. I know we don't have a ton of time. Jessica, let me go to you and talk about the Democrats, like John Fetterman today on Newsroom said, but they wanted Iran's leadership to fail. They wanted them to get rid of them, but they just wanted it done in their way, but they had not done it in the past 2 times when they had the presidency.
Yeah, no one disputes that Iran was a massive threat. We talked about no tears shed for the Ayatollah or the other, 45 some odd people who were with him day one and the 80 something that died today. I think it's more about the questions of how long is this going to go on? What does it mean? What does success look like? How many American lives are going to be lost? And tying it back to the fact that Donald Trump was someone who ran on successfully multiple times as the quote-unquote peace president and no troops on the ground. I do think calling it an illegal war and going down that route is pretty fruitless and silly. I mean, Secretary Rubio said yesterday we followed all the protocols. I'm looking right now at the War Powers Resolution notification that they submitted to Congress on time on February 28th before the strikes happened. They have been doing it, quote unquote, by the book up until this point, and they will have the vote on it. And there will be some Republicans who will vote against it. Todd Young is signaling that that may happen. But it is not just Democrats that are concerned about this. I already mentioned Todd Young, the Thomas Masseys of the world, the Rand Pauls of the world. And I think there's a difference between the kind of surgical strikes that we saw with Operation Midnight Hammer or in Venezuela and what this looks like even just a few days in, and our close ally Israel's intention here and how long we know that Netanyahu will go to make sure that Iran is totally eradicated as we know it.
Emily, you work with a lot of veterans groups, and I wonder how you think that language about "you will fail" lands with either active duty military or the veterans.
I can only speak for myself, where it reads like a betrayal. It reads like a prediction. It reads like there's no faith in those brave men and women who put on the uniform, who have bled under and died under the flag that he rolls his eyes under.